Hey y'all, welcome back to Math Rescue. I'm Andre, a certified math coach. In this video, we're going to use factoring by grouping. This method is one of the cleanest ways to break down a messy expression into something you can actually work with. Once you see the pattern, it becomes a go-to move. Let's talk about it. So we have two problems here that we're going to simplify. Our first expression, we have 27 times x to the third plus 64 times y to the sixth power. The first thing that you need to do with these questions is you need to realize that you're working with cubes. So just because I've been doing this for long enough, I recognize 27. I recognize that that's 3 times 3 times 3. So in other words, I have 3 to the third power there. And same thing with 64. 64 is the same as 4 times 4 times 4. So I have 4 to the third power there. So anything to the third power is a cube. So what I can do is if you look over here at our formula, we have 3 times x to the third power, as well as 4 times y squared to the third power. Real quick, 4 times y squared to the third power. We can multiply these exponents here. Whenever you have a power to a power, you multiply the exponents. So that's the same as 4 times y to the sixth. So the reason why it's helpful to take some time to think about it in that representation is because it helps me fit it to the formula a little bit better. I can see more clearly that a is just 3x and b is just 4y squared. And now I can just fit it to the other side of the formula. So the other side says we record a. Then we record an addition sign. Then from there we record b. And we could go ahead and continue recording the formula. So then we have a squared minus a times b. B, if you remember, is 4y squared. Let me include my square there as well. And then we have plus 4y squared. And 4y squared is our b value, so that itself will also be squared. Let me scoot that over just a little bit so we can see all of it. All right, perfect. There it is. From here, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to include these parentheses. And now we've finished factoring. So we've finished factoring, but I do want to simplify this. Let me go ahead and bring it back over here into the workspace. If it feels like I'm relying a lot on the formula, that's because that's how you do these problems. You either are using the formula or you have the formula memorized, but regardless, you're using it to factor. Just rewriting it. So when we end up kind of cleaning all this up, we end up with the binomial 3x plus 4y squared times the trinomial 9x squared minus 12xy squared plus 16y to the fourth power. And that's me just cleaning all of this up. All right, let's go ahead and try the next one. So the next one is a difference of cubes. The formula is a little bit different. I have the formula right here. Real quick, let's talk about the names of these formulas. So the sum of cubes, the name comes from the fact that we have two cubes that are being added together. For the difference of cubes, it follows the same logic. We have two cubes that we're finding the difference between them. Whenever you have a sum of cubes or a difference of cubes, you can use these formulas. They're fair game. All right, so let's go ahead and start part B. So part B says 250 times a to the 6th power minus 54 times b to the 3rd power. Now, I'm not really recognizing any cubes that are showing up here. So maybe there's a GCF that I need to take out. I can see that both 250 and 54 are even numbers. So let me go ahead and factor out a GCF of 2, and let me see if that makes it a little bit more familiar feeling. All right, so I took out a GCF of 2, and I ended up with 125 as a coefficient and 27 as a coefficient. 27 we just worked with, so we know that that's 3 to the 3rd power. And 125 is actually 5 times 5 times 5. So let me go ahead and just record what we are cubing in each case. So this is 5a squared cubed. And over here, we have 3b cubed. All right, I'm going to do this one a little bit faster since you've already kind of seen me map everything to the formula. So let's go ahead and start. We're going to be starting with this side of the formula over here. So first I'm going to go ahead and record A. So A is 5 A squared minus 3B. I might need a little bit more space there. Then we're going to do the first term squared. So 25A to the 4th. Plus, here we're doing A times B. So 5 times 3 gives me 15. A squared and B. And then we're going to do B squared. So the purple. That's going to give me 9B squared. All right. I'm Andre with Math Rescue. See you in the next one.